I like things neat, but my loved ones are messy. How can we live together in peace if you're someone who always wants everything tidy and clean, but the person you live with doesn't care about that? Then this video is for you. In the next few minutes, you'll hear 5 very specific steps to understand why they're not like you, how to stop feeling exhausted from repeating yourself without any change, and most importantly, how to live with differences without losing your peace. You'll hear a short story about a dog and a pen, a deep metaphor about a boat, and the current and eventually 3 practical steps that can help you find peace in your own home. Is there a way to stop nagging every day and still keep your home tidy? Do you have to wait for others to change so you can suffer less? Or maybe peace comes from the way you see things and the choices you make. Don't rush to answer, because what you're about to hear might change how you see everything. If you find this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support means a lot and gives us the energy to keep sharing meaningful things. Thank you for being here. Now, let's begin with the first step. Step 1. Look within. What do I want? There's something often overlooked in family conflicts. We get so focused on other people's behavior that we forget to ask ourselves the real question. What do I truly want? Do I want a tidy house, or do I want to feel respected? Do I want them to stop making a mess, or am I trying to regain a sense of safety and peace after years of carrying too many burdens? Asking the right question helps us look beyond actions to the deeper emotional needs behind them. Many people say, "I cleaned up and they messed it up again. I've told them so many times, but nothing changes." From there comes loneliness, frustration, hurt, and eventually a quiet, heavy kind of fatigue. But if you pause and ask yourself honestly, you'll realize that what you truly want isn't just a clean house, but a peaceful home, a space where your loved ones are present, and you feel loved. And to create that tidiness alone may not be enough. This is the time to look again at what you do every day. Are your actions helping you get closer to what you want? You talk a lot, you clean non-stop, you complain, you feel tired, but do you feel lighter? Or does it feel like you're struggling alone to hold on to some order that's slowly slipping away? If so, maybe you've been rowing your life's boat against the current without even realizing it. The person who rows with the current is someone who knows what they want. They understand that peace doesn't come from forcing others to change, but from living with awareness. They know when to let go, when to speak up, and when to protect their own space, and that's why they don't feel drained. The person who rows against the current is someone who fights reality thinking that saying more, doing more, and getting more upset will make things change. But in the end, they get worn out, disappointed, and sometimes lose themselves. Maybe you've been so focused on keeping the house tidy that you forgot to keep your heart light. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. When you stop and ask what you want and have the courage to face it, that's when you'll see which direction to go next. There's nothing wrong with loving cleanliness, but if it causes you pain every single day is what you're chasing, still worth it. Real peace begins when you live in line with your values without losing gentleness in how you treat others. And to do that, you'll need the next step. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2. Recognize the differences. No one's wrong, we just see things differently. Here's a tiny story that can completely change how we see others. One day, A man and a dog were looking at an object. The man said, "It's a pen." The dog stared at it and thought, "It's a bone." So who's right? The answer is they both are. To the man, it's something to write with. To the dog, it's something to chew. Same object, different perspectives, because their starting points and life experiences are completely different. Living together works the same way. For you, tidiness might be a sign of peace, but for your loved one, having things around might feel convenient, relaxed, and more livable. Not everyone was raised to love order. Not everyone finds joy in a spotless home. And that doesn't mean they're wrong. They're just living in a way that feels okay to them. If you believe there's only one right way to live yours, then you may unintentionally force others to live by your standards. And from there, the gap between you will only grow. But if you look again and realize that everyone's worldview comes from a different place, you'll start to soften. A wife who loves cleanliness doesn't have to put up with mess forever. But she also doesn't have to believe that only when her husband changes will she feel better. A husband might not see a problem with clothes lying around, but if he knows it makes his wife anxious every night, he might choose to pick them up, not out of pressure, but out of love. These things only begin when you pause and ask, what lens is this person seeing life through? And how can I move closer to them through understanding? Recognizing the difference isn't about accepting everything. It's about starting the right kind of conversation. When you truly understand that no two people are the same, you stop expecting them to behave exactly like you. And right then, you stop hurting because they didn't change the way you hoped. This is a powerful turning point and the foundation of real peace. Now let's continue with step 3. Step 3. Flow with what you truly want. Stop blaming. Start transforming. Imagine your life as a small boat. Every morning you wake up and begin rowing that boat down a river called life. Sometimes the water is calm, sometimes it rushes fast, but it always flows in one direction. That current represents the natural laws that shape your experience. Psychological truths cause and affect subconscious patterns, and even things you may not have words for. There's something strange about this current. When you row with it, life feels light. You move forward without having to try so hard. But when you row against it, your arms ache, you lose direction, and sometimes, no matter how much effort you give, you can't seem to move at all. The same happens in your emotional life. When you live in alignment with what you truly want, when you speak clearly about your needs, stay soft in your heart, respond with awareness instead of anger, you are rowing with the current. You may still face challenges, but you're not drained by struggles you create yourself. But if you long for a loving family yet speak with bitterness, if you want your husband to be more attentive, but blame him for being distant, if you want a clean house but carry inattention every time a pair of slippers is out of place, then you are rowing upstream. Your actions are out of sync with what your heart truly wants, and that's why you feel tired. Not because others don't understand, but because you're acting against your desire. Some people think that if they can control everything, they will finally feel safe. But deep safety comes from within, not from how many times you clean or how many times you speak up. Some believe that if the other person would just change, they would suffer less. But they don't see that the more they try to force someone to follow them, the more cramped their own heart become, Some kind wives give everything to their families, but because they express things the wrong way, that kindness turns into pressure. Some husbands love their wives deeply, but because they don't say it, their love is misunderstood. These are all boats struggling upstream, thinking they're headed toward peace, but slowly drifting away from it. There's a saying that when you know where you want to go, you'll also know when to stop, when to turn back, and when to let the current carry you. Flowing with what you want doesn't mean giving up. It means staying awake in every decision you make. When you speak with gentleness instead of complaining, you're flowing. When you keep a small space clean just for yourself, instead of forcing the whole house to change, you're flowing. When you try to understand part of the other person's world, instead of seeing everything only from your side, you're flowing, and it's those small actions repeated every day that will gradually lighten your heart and ease your relationships. That's when you stop getting trapped in the cycle of mess and anger, and begin living like someone rowing calmly across peaceful water. From here, you'll finally have enough strength to begin more practical changes. And now, let's move on to Step 4. Step 4. Set clear physical boundaries. When you live with someone who tends to be messy, the hardest part isn't having to clean more, it's the feeling that everything is out of your control. You wipe the table and they put things on it again. You fold the laundry and they toss clothes onto a chair. You tidy up one corner and another gets messy. That feeling can quickly lead to frustration and make you feel like you're fighting a never-ending battle. But in truth, you don't need to control the entire house to feel at peace. You just need to set clear boundaries where tidiness is required and where flexibility is allowed. Instead of trying to make the whole house perfect, start by agreeing with your loved ones on a few shared areas that must be kept clean and orderly, like the dining table, kitchen bed, or living room. These spaces directly affect your health, rest, or family image, so maintaining them is easier to agree on. Speak gently and specifically. Instead of saying, "You always make a mess," try saying, "I just ask that we keep the dining table clean since it's where we all eat together." Once boundaries are set and agreed upon, you'll feel more in control and won't need to repeat yourself as much. If your loved one can't change completely, suggest a compromise. Give them a designated space where they can keep their belongings however they like. It could be a shelf, a corner of the room, or even a private drawer somewhere you don't need to step in. The truth is, you can't force someone to live your way, but you can create an environment clear enough that everyone knows what's expected. A tidy home isn't one where everything is spotless. It's one where the rules are clear and everyone understands the boundaries that matter. When you do that, you ease the burden on yourself and gently guide your loved ones toward better habits without needing to push. That's how you row with the current in real life. And this becomes the foundation for the next step, learning to communicate with care. Step 5. Communicate well and protect your personal space. Many people fall into the loop of complaining because they keep talking, but nothing ever changes. But if you look closely, not everyone knows how to speak in a way that gets heard. Some words open hearts. Others make people put up walls. The difference lies in how you begin. Instead of saying, "Why do you always leave things everywhere?" try saying, "I feel tired having to clean multiple times a day, and I hope we can keep the table clear so meals feel more relaxing." When you speak from your own experience and clearly describe what you need, it's easier for the other person to understand because they don't feel attacked. This way of speaking is known as the "I feel," "when," "because," model, and it's been proven to reduce tension in family conversations. You don't need fancy words, just sincerity and respect. Along with speaking the right way, there's something equally important: having a small space of your own. When you live with someone different from you, having a personal space is essential for recharging your energy. It could be a desk, a kitchen corner, a balcony, a bookshelf, or just a chair where you can sit quietly for 5 minutes a day. Keep that space clean, fragrant, and pleasant, like a small mental retreat. When you have somewhere to return to, you won't get swept up by the clutter around you. You won't feel like you're losing the battle for order, but instead, like you're calmly protecting something deeply important. There was an elderly woman who once said no matter how loud or messy the house got, she always kept her tea table clean, because that was where she began each day in peace. Sometimes one small corner like that is enough to keep your heart steady. Speaking with care and protecting your space not only makes you feel lighter, it also sends a quiet message: you are living with awareness, self-respect, and clear limits. And that message will naturally reach the person living with you, even if they don't change right away. That's when you stop trying to control others and start truly taking charge of your own life. Now we come to the closing part, where we reflect on everything we've shared. Final thoughts. If you've made it this far, maybe you've also been through that cycle cleaning, and it gets messy again speaking, and nothing changes, hoping for a shift in your loved one, but ending up feeling even more drained. But what we've just explored together isn't another complaint. It's a journey inward, a way to understand, to transform, and to move toward real peace. The first step is to look within and ask what you truly want: peace, or control, love, or perfection. The second step is to recognize the differences, that no one is wrong. We just see life differently. The third step is to learn the principle of flowing with your true desire, so you stop resisting reality and start walking gently with it. The fourth step is to set clear boundaries. So instead of cleaning the entire world, you just maintain what truly matters. And the final step is to relearn how to communicate and to protect a small, clean space that helps your mind recharge each day. These things aren't big, but when repeated daily, they can gradually ease the tension in your home. Maybe the other person hasn't changed, but your shift will open a new path for both of you. Because peace doesn't come from everyone living the same way. It comes when each person knows how to live together, with understanding, with respect, and with maturity. Thank you for staying with us until the end. If you found this helpful, please subscribe, and leave a comment so we know you're still here. Your support means the world. We'll see you in the next video. Wishing you a gentle day filled with loving energy.